You're right, dudes, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So as the title says, lowering springs on stock shocks. Can you do it? Should you do it? Short answer is, if the spring manufacturer says it's okay, i.e. they don't have any special notes in their application list saying that you need to change the shocks, then it should be fine. It should operate as normal without any bangs or any compromises in that respect. So that's a short answer. Long answer is, it might be a little bit more complicated than that. Before, I would have said, just get the lowering springs, reputable manufacturer. You know I'm a big fan of H&R. Just put them on the car with the shocks that you've got and you'll be golden. Big increase in performance. You'll keep the comfort. Everybody's a winner. But if you've been following along with the channel, you know I've done a few videos on teen springs, H&R springs, Bilstein B8s, the KYB XLG dampers, and I ran into an issue which could be related to using lowering springs on stock shocks. So what did I do? I had Bilstein on the car with teen lowering springs, which were really low. They lowered the car like by 60 millimeters. Had them on the car for well over 100,000 kilometers. I don't know exactly, but well over 100,000, could be 200,000 kilometers. I changed out the teen and I put H&R on the car. Link in the video description to that video. And around 10,000 kilometers later, I started having issues with the suspension. The first thing that happened was the front left Bilstein started to knock, and eventually that just blew. It just blew oil all over the wheel arch. So I thought, okay, it could happen. Like I said, they'd been on the car for well over 100,000 kilometers, the Bilstein B8 by that point. So I thought, okay, wear and tear, it happens. And then about 5,000 kilometers later, the rear right had the same issue, blew the seals out, no damping. So this is the reason I'm doing this video. In theory, it's fine. But maybe if you've got a lot of kilometers on the dampers, you could run into the issues that I ran into. And I think, I'm just complete speculation, but I'm thinking because the dampers had been on the car for so long, the seals, the shafts, everything, the wear parts in the damper were used to working in that range where the teen were. Like everything had bedded into that ride height. And then when I changed the ride height, the seals, the gaskets, what have you, started working at another part of the damper. They had bedded into a different part, and this is what eventually led to the Bilstein seals giving up. So again, the reason I'm making this video, can you use lowering springs on stock shocks? Yeah, you can, but if the dampers have got a lot of mileage on them, then maybe you have to bear in mind that they could blow up, or they will start leaking, you know, shortly after fitting the lowering springs. So it's something to bear in mind when you're looking at lowering springs. If you've got stock shocks on the car already, and you're thinking of, and you want to put lowering springs on the car, i.e. you're going to change the ride height like I did. I went the other way. I went like 30 millimeters higher. If you've got the stock springs and you're thinking of putting lowering springs, you're going to go the other way. But I think the principle is the same. The damper's going to be working at a different spot. Then, if you've got the stock shocks, they're usually pretty cheap, depending on the car that you've got. So is it worth just, you know, doing everything together, get the lowering springs and just get a fresh set of original equipment dampers at the same time? I think if I had over 100,000 kilometers, 160,000 kilometers on my stock dampers, and I was getting some H&R lowering springs, you know, they're not going to be cheap. They're going to be, what are they these days, 180, 200 euro plus. I think I'd just bite the bullet. I'd spend the extra, whatever it's going to be, what, 300 euro, $300, 300 pounds. Just get a fresh set of stock dampers as well, fit them all together, and jobs are good, and you know. On the other hand, if you've already got a set of expensive dampers on the car, like your B8s, your B6s, even if they had big mileage on them, I don't think I would be changing them out if I was fitting lowering springs. Even if I was going to do the same thing that I did again, in regards to going to H&R team. Knowing then what I know now, I don't think I would do anything differently. Because those B8s, they're expensive, don't get me wrong. I think they're around 180 a side on the front. 80 aside on the rear. They had a lot of kilometers on them. I was never going to do anything with those dampers after. There was no way I was going to sell them. So I would just do it again, take the chance. If they blew up, so be it, go from there. I mean, I've lost nothing. Yes, you can fit lowering springs on stock shocks. In my experience, if the dampers on the car have got big mileage on them already, then you know, have that in the back of the mind that you may have to replace them later. If it's not a big expense to replace them when you change the lowering springs, do that. If you've got expensive dampers on the car already, you know, try it. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, they blow up and then you've got to replace the dampers, which you would have done anyway. So that's the video, guys. Thank you for making it this far. If you're a subscriber already, thank you for subscribing. It's appreciated. If you're not a subscriber, you like the video, please subscribe. Look after yourself, and I'll see you again in the next one.
Please forgive me.